What's up, tubers? Tio here, Simplistic Fishing, coming back at you for another lake breakdown overview. This time we're actually going to go out and check out a really cool reservoir called Dale Hollow out in Tennessee. We're going to start out here on the Wildlife Resource Agency for Tennessee. Got some information out here about the lake. This is actually a pretty good page. Tennessee does a really good job of giving us information about the lake. Some of these other states don't do as good a job, but Tennessee, you got it going on for sure. Maybe not as good as our Texas boys, but pretty dang close. All right, let's read about this real quick. Dale Hollow Reservoir was created in 1943 by completion of the Dale Hollow Dam on the Obey River near Salina, Texas. It might be Salina, Tennessee. Sorry, I said Salina, Texas. Salina, Tennessee. It could be Salina. I'm not sure how you guys pronounce it. We'll go down a little bit more. It talks about some nearby towns. Dale Hollow has 27,700 surface acres of water with 620 miles of shoreline. So lots of shoreline to cover. But the main thing I want to talk to you guys about here is look at that third paragraph. Dale Hollow has long been home to the famous state and world record smallmouth bass caught in 1955 by Mr. D.L. Hayes, pictured above, which he's not pictured above, so boom, here you go. Here's a picture of it. This thing weighed 11 pounds and 15 ounces. This world-class smallmouth bass continues to captivate anglers with the possibilities offered by the outstanding smallmouth bass fishery that exists at Dale Hollow today. Now, here's the trick. There's a whole backstory to this thing where this guy was accused of putting weights and things in the fish to make it bigger and weigh more, and then they basically went back and they did a whole research on it to see if it was true or not. At first, Tennessee ripped him of the record, so Kentucky did too. Didn't rip on the record, but did acknowledge the record. Then Tennessee came back later, did an investigation, said, you know what, we think it really is true. This guy's a legit guy. There's no reason for him to do this. So they gave him the record back, which it shows here on the website, right, that he's got the record at 11 pounds, 15 ounces. But Kentucky will not recognize it. It's still on the book. So it's this whole really cool story. I'll actually put a link out to the Bassmaster article about this one. I had no idea. I was just going out to get the picture of the smallmouth, and I found out that there's all this drama that surrounds this smallmouth. So pretty cool. All right, let's move on down and let's talk about what kind of species you can catch here. You've got largemouth bass, and this website does a great job too of talking to you about the different areas really that you could go look, and it kind of gives you some really good information about bass fishing. So we'll put the link to this one in the video as well so you guys can have it. But we got largemouth bass, smallmouth bass. Obviously this one's known for its smallmouth bass, spotted bass, crappie with black and white crappie. We got walleye as well, panfish, bluegill, and red ear. We've got musky, catfish, and rainbow trout. So this lake is loaded. It's got lots of depth. It's got lots of channels and swings and all kinds of good stuff. Let's go jump out onto the Google Earth page, or Google Earth. Let's just jump out onto Google Earth and let's go see what this lake has to offer. So I've switched over now. We're using Google Earth, and I want to show you guys how we've broken down Dale Hollow Reservoir. Obviously this thing is massive. Got lots of good stuff to cover today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to the left side and just show you how we have it broken down, and then I'll point out some of the key spots that I saw, as we were going through this breakdown that I really think you guys should probably go check out, or at least consider when you're out there fishing. First off, number one, and I just updated these today when I created this video. It's probably gonna be a few weeks afterwards when you actually see this, but I went out, finally was able to get the GPX files for the TWRA fish attractors, and I've been adding those into all the Tennessee lakes lately. So this is one that I came up, was doing the video on it, so I was like, hey, it's time to update it. So now we've got all these fish attractors to go take a look at. And if you've never fished the fish attractors, or if you think they're bogus, I'm telling you they're not. Go run them and see what you can find. You can catch crappie on these fish attractors. You can catch bass. You could probably even catch catfish and all kinds of other fish as well. I don't know about the walleye. They like to go pretty deep, but I've never really fished for walleye. But heck, why wouldn't the walleye be there? There's a ton of bait fish there, but you can see there are a ton of fish attractors. Like, let's look at these 3 points. That's perfect place to go hit. You can hit 3 attractors here, 2 more here, come down, have a few more here. I mean, if the attractor thing's on, if you just get 2 of these that's firing at a time, you're gonna have a pretty good time fishing all these attractors. So I'll pull this back out, kind of let you guys see where they're all at. And then of course, real quick before we go any further, you can always go out to our website, simplisticfishing.com, and pick up these lake breakdowns. We've got Dale Hollow out there as well as several other lakes in Tennessee. You just go out, you can either go to Tennessee or you can go up to the top and search for Dale Hollow. But once you do that, just scroll down, click on the lake, and then you'll see the picture that we're seeing here basically from Google Earth, as well as some of the other information about the lake. You go in, you either click the digital file. If you want the digital file sent to you, we can send you the digital files. You copy those and put them on a card and you're good to go. Or you can order the SD card and we'll just mail it over to you. So we definitely have that option for you. Go out and check it out. And if you don't want that option, you'll see it here in a minute, but you can always go out and download our app, Simplistic Fishing, on the App Store or Google Play and basically get all this stuff that we're going to show today. Okay, enough for that good stuff. Let's move on. We've got the attractors. Let's talk about channels and ditches, because there were quite a few channels and ditches on this lake. Some of them were hard to see because of the contours and just because this is more of a mountainous kind of region, you know, lots and lots of hills and things. So it's hard to get the creek channels perfectly, but if we were able to see the channels, we definitely marked them for you. So let me go back here and show you this one. So let's say here, you wouldn't really know that channel was there, right? But if we draw the water back to 2019, of course, as I prep for this video, it's 2019 and I come back and it's not, but here it is, 2019. We can actually see the channels here. So I've taken the time to mark a track exactly where I can see those channels. And a lot of people ask me, well, why would you do that? Well, if you fish creek channels, you know why, because it's very important to know where those channels are. And if you can find those channels that bend and slide up against stuff or just make a big turn, those are really key places to fish. And you can see you've got quite a few up here. This is a really good creek channel that comes back through here. Looks awesome. It's actually got two different little lines that are in there. You got a couple more in here as well. So you've got some good stuff all throughout the lake to go check out there as well. Now, next up, let's go look at the cover and structure. We've got lots of cover and structure out here, but you know, most of it I'm going to say is, you know, a lot of it's laydowns. You can go and you can pick the laydowns you want to fish. We've got all the laydowns marked that look like they were fishable and came in play and could be a good one. But the main thing I want you guys to look at here when we're looking at the breakdown are these drains. So drains are really important and they're kind of overlooked in fishing. A lot of people don't talk about drains. A lot of times I'll call it a ditch, but really it's a drain. But in these deeper lakes where you get these coves where they're really steep, they create these drains and those fish love to get down in the middle of those drains. So we've got a lot of them marked here for you. If we were able to see the drain, like actually kind of see the channel that it's created, we marked those for you, but you can see there's several different drains that you could go check out. And if that got onto, if you got onto a pattern there, you've got plenty of them to find. So you've got them scattered throughout the lake. I'll go up here. We can take a look at some of these up here too. These look really good. This one back in here. You got another one over there. They're kind of just scattered throughout. In fact, if I go and I put on the channels and ditches, you'll see ditches as well. Hopefully we'll see some ditches in here. Maybe we just marked them all as drains. I think we marked them all as drains. So never mind. You won't see any ditches. You'll see them all marked as drains throughout the breakdown. All right, next up, let's talk about foundations because there are a ton of foundations on this lake. So what we did is we marked the ones that were basically fishable or we thought that were fishable. So you can see we've got several of them here on the map. Let's just go take a look at, maybe let's take a look at one of these down here, a little bit up from Highway 111. We got a nice little foundation off these 2 points. I like where that sets up. That looks really, really good there. You got a couple more back in here you could take a look at. You come up here along where this main lake point is and come down just a little ways. You can definitely tell there's something going on there and you kind of see the remnants of the foundation there as well. So pretty good stuff. If you've never fished those house foundations, they're pretty fun to fish. Fish it with a jig, fish it with a wobblehead, a Carolina rig if it's not too hard to fish around. I mean, you could throw a crankbait down there and just bounce off the stuff and see what you can catch. Those foundations are really awesome, especially during certain times of year. For me, it's more of a summertime thing, but it could be different on Dale Hollow, especially you having a lot deeper water than what I'm accustomed to. All right, we've got offshore spots, which if I click this, it's gonna show all these offshore spots. You're gonna say, man, that makes absolutely no sense. You've got, well, it kind of does because the water's down here, but you've got stuff out here that I can't even see. Don't worry, we're gonna switch over here in a second, and using the Simplistic Fishing Mobile App, we're gonna pull up the contours and we're gonna look at some of these really cool offshore spots that you guys have on this lake, and you have a ton of them. The main thing here I'd say look at is check out the flats. We've marked a lot of the flats in this area. Those are great places to go look in the fall and in the spring. So make sure to go check out those flats in the fall and the spring. Of course, these humps are awesome too, but we'll talk about that stuff here in a little bit. All right, we've got ramps and slabs. If you've heard me do any of the lake breakdowns, fishing the ramps is actually a deal. It's something that's actually productive. For me, it's a late spring thing, but if these ramps aren't active, stop by, check them out. You know, throw a crankbait over them, throw a Texas rig on them, throw a wobblehead on them, a jig, whatever you want to do, just drag across it, and whatever you feel like fishing around it, fish around it, because I'm telling you, those boat ramps, they collect algae and stuff like that, which collects all these little microfish, and those microfish they collect they bring on the bait fish, and then the bait fish bring on the crappie and the other fish, and then, eventually you get to the bass. Sometimes the bass are just eating the bait fish. So if you know the bait fish are attracted there, that means the bass can't be too far behind. And maybe you're not fishing for bass, maybe you're fishing for crappie or something like that. I can still see those boat ramps being a possibility for you. All right, next up, we've got roads. Now, we didn't see too many roads here. We saw some on the mapping, like on the contour maps that said there was a road there, but a lot of them we couldn't verify. But there was one spot in here I wanted you guys to go check out. I don't know if there's a road here or not. It says there is on some of the Navionics stuff, but when you look at it on the satellite imaging, it doesn't really look like there's a road here, but it says there's a road right in here. And if there is, then that's perfect, because that means you're going to have something, maybe some kind of a hump there by that channel. But if I go up here and I click on the channel, you can see here's the channel. The channel's coming down, and it's coming right by that road. So take a look at that spot, because that spot looks very interesting. Okay, I got to hurry up because I'm supposed to make this shorter. Okay, so we got rocks, right? We got lots of rocks. Obviously, there's rocks across all this lake, but these are going to be the key rocky spots that we want you guys to go look at. I would say focus on the rocky spots that are around the points for sure. So if you can find some rocky points, that's probably going to be a great place for you to start. If you find stuff like this, where you're way out here on this point and you've got rock, or right here, a lot of that rock too will show you where the creek channel swings are. So if it gets rocky, kind of pay attention to how this thing's looping around, and more than likely, those rockier spots are going to be closer to those channel swings and things like that. Also great spots that throw crankbaits and things like that, get parallel to those rocks and fish them that way. Last but not least, we have vegetation and grass. This is probably the hardest one, because it depends on the year that you're looking at on whether or not there was grass in that area or not. So we've marked the spots that we could, that we're pretty sure there's still going to be grass there. But again, I'll probably just have to keep updating this one every couple of years and just try to verify that grass as we move on. But you can see there's plenty of it here. Just depends on if it's still there or not. All right, now, all we have left to do is to jump over to the Simplistic Fishing Mobile App and take a look at some of these offshore spots. We've got a ton to talk about. Of course, we're not going to cover them all in this video, but let's at least go check some of them out. Okay, so I've switched over now. I'm using the Simplistic Fishing Mobile App. I'm going to go into the Northeast region. You could actually get to this lake from the Southeast or the Northeast region. I'm just going to click on Northeast because it's right here in front of me. And I'm going to go over here to Dale Hollow. And once I go there, I'm going to click on waypoints. And that's going to bring up all the waypoints. Actually, I've got my filters on, so it's only going to show us the offshore stuff. But if I took off the filters, it's going to show us all those waypoints that we've just been talking about, right? And there's a ton of them that are out there. We went through all of them. You can see all of the ones, everything, basically everything that we talked about, from the tracks to the offshore spots to the foundations. And you can come up here and you can hit filter waypoints, and you could say, you know what? I just want to see houses. Okay, oops, I took that off. I keep screwing this up. Take off the offshore stuff. All right, just want to see houses. Boom, there's all my house foundations. I can go and I can get to those very quickly, very easily. And of course you have, if I was on this lake, you would actually be able to see a little arrow on where I was at on this lake. So anyways, that's enough of that. Let's go and let's click offshore, because we only want to look at offshore. And I actually want to look at these ledges, and let's look at humps too. Let's put it all in there. All right, so we want all that. So here we go. We've got all of our offshore. We got some humps out there. I don't see the ledges yet, but there's a couple ledges that we were able to see that we marked. So we'll see if we can find those here in a minute. But the main thing is, it's the same thing we saw in Google Earth, right? So what we need to do is go up here to the hamburger menu and click on contours. And that's going to take it just a second to load in the contours. But what we've done is we've partnered with Navionics to get their HD contours imported into the Simplistic Fishing app, which is totally awesome. So now we can see what all these offshore spots were about and why we marked them. So real quick, let's just take a look at a couple of them. Let's start down here on the bottom west side. And let's just pick a couple of them here. Let's go, first one, I really like this right here, this little hump that's out here. 31 foot, it's a smallie area, right? It's gotta be good, right? That's gotta be a good hump right there. There's your little coordinate you can check out. You could also move up a little bit further. There's a hump out there to the left at 20 foot that we didn't mark. And then you've got also the hump right here, and then we've got it marked as offshore too. This could be a really great area. It's got ledges on both sides. It just looks like it could be a great spot. And then if all else fails, you could always scoot over and fish that point right there where it says offshore. That could be a great spot as well. You just got a lot of good stuff going on right there in that area. Let's move on up. And as I move up, you can kind of see how we mark these things, right? We're marking points, we're marking swings, we're marking humps. Let's take a look at this one right here. So if you look really closely, it's kind of hard to tell, but you can tell, well, I guess you can tell because it's 120 foot of water, but at the south side of this, at the bottom side, there's the river channel. And the river channel is kind of coming off of that bank line to the left, and it's starting to come up and swing against this point right here, which makes it a very high percentage point. So I'm going to click on this right here, this offshore. And just because I put the offshore spot right there doesn't mean particularly right there, right? You need to scan that whole area. There could be some drops there. It just depends on where the bait's at and where they're going to be located. So I really like that spot. So we've got that one. Let's move over here. Let's scoot back. Let's go up here. Let's go up here in Kentucky. And we're going to pick just a couple more spots. Here we go. We got a ledge here. Now this looks primo, right? Look at how the river channel comes down, or maybe that's a creek channel. I don't know if it's a creek channel or river channel. But definitely doesn't look as big as the river channel did, but check out the swing that it makes across this point. You got a nice flat top on the top of that point. It's only 7 to 18 foot, so really not that deep. And then when you get further off where that swing is, that's where you really get that nice ledge. So definitely go check that out. If you wanted to just see where those ledges are, we've got a lot of them marked if we were really able to tell them. So we could come in here and say, you know what, just show me those ledges. And it's only going to come up and show me the ledges that we have. The other thing you could do here too is you could, as we're doing this, and you're coming over here and you're picking your offshore spots and your humps, and maybe you're planning for the day, what you could also do is you could come in here and you could say, you know what, favorite that ledge, so I have it. I got to click the right thing here. Mark those ledges, so there we go. And then also come over here, I really like this hump. I want to fish that. And then maybe let's just go pick one more. Let's go down where we were earlier. Actually, that'd be a long boat ride, so let's go maybe here. We really like this point. So my phone catches up with me, I'm going to say make that a favorite. And then what I could do is when I go out to the lake tomorrow, I wish I was going to this lake tomorrow. I wish I'd also quick click of that. As I'm going out to the lake tomorrow, what I could do is I could come out here and I could say, you know what? I only want to see my favorite waypoints. And so what that's going to do is that's only going to show us our favorite waypoints that we favorited. So if I back this out, you're going to see it's only going to show me those favorites. And then as I go fish them, let's say that I come up here and I fish this hump. And I'm like, you know what? That hump was horrible. There wasn't anything there. There was no cover. I didn't see any bait. I just don't feel like that's a good spot. You can go over here and you can say remove favorite, and then that removes it off of there. Or if you had a whole bunch of spots marked and you're like, man, that tournament got canceled, I'd rather just reset everything. Boom, you can come up here, clear favorites, remove it. It takes everything off. All your favorites are gone. Now you can go back and you can see all the waypoints that are across the lake. So guys, I got to wrap this thing up. I've been talking for way too long, but if you want this information, like I said, you can always go out to simplisticfishing.com and get these waypoints for your graphs. You can get the digital files or the SD cards, or you can go check it out on the App Store or Google Play. We've got it out there for you for downloads. Just go pick it up. Until next time, guys, I hope you catch your PB. Take it easy.